Hello, 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 and welcome. Let me welcome you to this presentation. My name is Ayola Gurekun. Those who know me call me Coach AOG. Actually, the AOG, obviously, most people think is from my first name, the first letter, and the first two letters of my surname. But actually, the OG actually come from one of my other businesses that I'm actually involved with, which is OG. But apparently, just have two letters that is with my son himself. But anyway, I will take it. This presentation is actually being designed forward towards the GMEN Summit 2013 that was done at the NewWine Church, which is actually an awesome idea and also initiative from the church. So, but I just want to share a couple of ideas um, during this presentation, and afterwards, you can actually ask questions. And for those who want to decide and actually go ahead on the idea that I want to share, then you can also do so. So the 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 different questions that I'll be going through today. One of them is going to be, who are you? You see, this is a vital question, and at some point, every one of us have to ask ourselves that question: who are you? You see, the second one is going to be going forward. How do you want to go forward? What are you doing going forward? What are the new things that you want to put in place going going forward? And these four questions, ladies and gentlemen, actually these four questions it's been very valuable for me, and actually going through the WWWI, you we actually see the reason why everybody have to answer this question. Matter of fact, I would say upfront that this question alone, ladies and gentlemen, um, can keep you awake all night, all day, all year. I tell you, having to have the right answer to these four questions, and an idea of philosophy that we will be taking on board um, um, during this presentation. And lastly, your turn to make your own decision based on the information that you be exposed to. So, listen to me. Let's go ahead and ask ourselves, who are you? Okay, I've done so many presentations now. I've been exposed to different people, and I always ask them this very first question, because this question um, um, can make a whole lot of things different. And when I meet somebody and I say, "Hey, hello, sir, who are you?" The first thing they are keen to tell me is their name, and probably their status, and probably what they're doing at the moment. So after sharing a couple of ideas with them, then they actually understand that who are you really is not your name or your status, or looking at your body, because who are you for you to know that answer is going to be based on your awareness. Okay, it's going to be based on what you know, not actually your knowledge. You see, it's going to be based on what you know, what you are aware of. All right. Now, for me to actually explain that, you have to understand what that awareness is all about, because awareness is going to be primarily based on our belief. Okay, it's going to be based on our belief system, because when you go to school in our educational system right now, we have been programmed in a way that we go to school, we get a degree, and they ask, who are you? You call yourself a doctor, you call yourself that, you call yourself this. But ladies and gentlemen, really, we all go through school, and we're not being taught how to think, because if you don't think, it will be very hard for you to know who are you. And thinking really is, if you want to break it down, it's going to be based on what you know. Okay, it's going to be based on what you've been taught when you're growing up, which is going to be based on your belief. Okay, and there are four components, ladies and gentlemen, to belief system. Okay, there are actually four components. The first one is what you see or imagine. You see, that's going to be you'll be getting what you see or your imagination from the books you read, the times, the media, and probably your thinking, ladies and gentlemen. See, let me put this into perspective. See, even the Bible let us understand. See, I am an amateur in Bible, but I actually understand one story from the Bible that actually says that there was a time that there are a couple of engineers trying to build this first ever skyscraper into the heaven. They want to build a tower into the heaven. And the Bible lets us understand that because they have imagined this, it is impossible for them not to accomplish it. Because they have imagined this, ladies and gentlemen. So you have to understand that though, one of the things that actually guide your belief system is what you see and what you imagine. There's so many principles all over the place in the Bible actually stating out this, because, and again, your thinking also is part of how you imagine things. Somebody said one time, Mary Morrissey, he said everything that's been created on earth has been created twice. First in the mind, and the second on the physical realm, because you have to imagine things before it comes out into existence. So the second thing that's a composite of your belief is what you say, your words, ladies and gentlemen. And actually, the words can be divided into two: the auto-suggestion and the hetero-suggestion. I'll just simply break that too, because I actually wrote about it in details in my book, Which Word Works: How Your Word Turned into Flesh. See, auto-suggestion is the word you suggested to yourself. I am not good. I cannot do this. I can make it in life. I cannot make it in life. You see, it's something you suggest to yourself. And the more you say all these words, either negative or positive, guess what's going to happen? Exactly, it's going to come into existence. And hetero-suggestion, yes, as you can guess now, is from the outside world. See, auto is within yourself, and hetero is from the outside world. And this is actually affect a lot of people when they're growing up. When those who are around them, their parents who are actually close to them, say mostly negative things towards them. See, we have to be careful of the words that we say. Listen, gentlemen, the third is your association. Your friends. MIT did a survey one time ago, actually a 40 years research, and they found out that if you have five obese friends, you will become number 6. And ladies and gentlemen, what actually made me be more, actually what made that scary the most is it doesn't matter how far those friends are. They could be thousands of miles away. If they are close to you, you still become obese. And I'm like, whoa. Do you know why? Because there's something called mind transmutation. Mind transmutation. They're going to rub their mind on you. They're going to rub their mind on you. And remember, the first component of belief is what you imagine in your mind that comes into place. So that alone can make you obese. Somebody said if you have 6 friends that are poor, guess what? You'll be the 7th. So your association is also a key to your belief, ladies and gentlemen. Your association is a key to your belief. And the last one is your environment, your surrounding. Now, I have to say this. It could be within or without. You see, your environment, ladies and gentlemen, is also a key to your belief. Okay, let's put this into perspective again. If I go to a place of prayer, I go to a place of worship, see, after then, my belief system is going to be increased. But as soon as I leave that place and I go into the car that I do not like, that give me problem, I will be upset. Or I leave the place, I go into a bus and somebody step on me, I will be upset. Or matter of fact, I get back home after my worship time and the people that live in my place are not the very best people you want to live with. Your belief system is going to be crumbled just like that. But it is within or without. Now that is without. Now the within part is the way you feel within yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Matter of fact, there is a quote from a great man, George Bernard Shaw. He said something. He said, I do not blame circumstance. He said, people blame circumstances for what they are. That is that without. He said, those who get on in life, they look around them, they look their without for the circumstances they want, and if they cannot find it, they make it. Now, they understand that they can make it in their within. Somebody said something that's full with truth. He said, the whole water in the world, if they do not get inside of you, they cannot drown you. Let me say that again. The whole water in the whole world, if they do not get inside of you, they cannot drown you. Which simply means, If your within is strong enough, your without will be okay. So if your within is good, forget about your without, it's going to be okay. But it's all about your environment, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's going to be all about your environment. So going forward, ladies and gentlemen, what does that mean to you this year? Going forward, what does that mean to you this year? You see, going forward in 2013, this year that we are in, is going to be based on one word, ladies and gentlemen. And this word has actually been said by Pastor Michael, I believe, for a couple of weeks in this year service. Okay, and he said one word, ladies and gentlemen, and the word is called attitude. Your attitude is the thing that's going to make you go even further this year. Now, let's break this down. What is attitude? What do you understand to be called attitude? Because I can tell you this, a lot of people say you got to have a new attitude. You got to change your attitude. You just got to have a good attitude. But actually, they do not actually understand the basic idea behind attitude. Because, ladies and gentlemen, my mentor actually told me something. He said this: if you want to understand anything, if you want to learn anything, break it down to pieces. Break it down so simple that you can teach it to a 5-year-old kid. And I said, okay. Then what is attitude? What can we define attitude as? It is the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. The composite of the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. Now, let me say this so you can actually understand what this is all about. You say, if I come to your house and you actually welcome me in and give me a cup of tea and a plate of cake. Now, after having that snack, and I said, wow, great icing, or I said, great spice. No, I don't think so. I wouldn't say that. I would say, great cake. But, ladies and gentlemen, cake is a composite of spice, icing, egg, flour, different things. It is a composite. So the combination of that makes it a cake. And that's the same thing we're talking about attitude. Because the way you think about anything, the way you feel about anything, and the way you act about anything, that same thing, they have to be in alignment. That is what you have a great attitude. And this is attitude towards everything. This is what that will guarantee your result. Towards anything, ladies and gentlemen. Your family life, your financial life, your Christian life, your belief life, anything that you do, you have to think, feel, and act in alignment towards that thing. And that will guarantee you your result. Now, talk about 4 questions, the WWWI. This is actually designed by Dr. Napoleon Hill. Now, this question is very valuable, and let me get it very valuable for you. Let me make it very valuable for you. Now, the first W is, what do you want? Now, as funny as this question is, a lot of people don't know actually what they want. I know you'll be saying, I'm not sure, I think I know what I want. Now, ladies and gentlemen, okay, let's put this into perspective. I met a couple of people during my time of sharing this information, and I said, hey, what do you want? They said, I want a lot of money. I said, okay, you want a lot of money. How much do you actually earn right now? They tell me probably 20,000, 25,000. I said, okay, great. So now you earn 25,000 and they say you want more money. I said, yes, that's what they would say. They would say, yes, I want more money. Okay. I said, then you know what? Let me give you 1,000 more to your 25,000. That means you will have 26,000. They'll be like, no, that is too small. But hey, hello, 1,000 pounds more is more. How much more do you want? You have to be specific, ladies and gentlemen. We all have to be specific in what we want. You can't just tell me you want to be successful. Okay, great, you want to be successful. Guess what? I will make you successful in terms of your job. But when you come back home, you don't have a happy family. But you be like, hold on a second. I just want to be successful. Yes, I just gave you one success. You can be successful at work and you're not successful at home. You have to be specific on where and how you want to be. You want to have that success. So the question is, the first question of the W is, what do you really want? What do you want? Can you be specific? Now, the second question is, why do you want it? Now, this is where I lose a lot of people, because they don't have the reason why they want, but they just want it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have a reason, if your why is not big enough, guess what? When you meet your first obstacle, you're going to quit. And it is as simple as that. When you meet your first ever obstacle, you are going to quit. But when your why is big enough, When you know the reason and you can write it down on a piece of paper, ladies and gentlemen, everything's going to change. Everything totally is going to change. Let me give you for an example. There is a story online, you can Google it. There is a woman that actually had an accident and she was able to crawl out of a fatal accident, but our kid is being trapped in the car. The one of the body side of the car is being rest upon one of the kids' leg. Guess what the lady did? She actually lifted the car up. Exactly, that's what she did. She lifted this car up. Do you want to know why? Because our reason is big enough. Our why is incredibly big enough that gives her enough energy to lift that car up. When she got to the hospital and the doctor came out and said, "Wow, you did a very brave thing, lady. You did a very brave thing for saving your child." And she said, "What did I do?" She can't even remember what she did. And the doctor said, "You actually lifted her car up." She said, "What car?" "My car." Lifted it up, and guess what? She collapsed. She fainted because she could not believe she could do that. It was estimated that car is about 25 or more kilogram, 25 or more times our own weight, which is incredible. You have to know your why. You have to know your reason. They must be big enough, ladies and gentlemen. They must be big enough. The third one, when do you want it? Now, let's talk about your faith. Can you have that faith? Can you be bold enough to write on a piece of paper by December this or by January that or any particular day that you want to actually have this and put yourself to it? Can you be specific enough of when you want it? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's understand it. If I say I'm going to have this by December and I do not have it by December and I actually have it by January or May, it doesn't really mean I can't have it. Now, the reason of you writing that date down is for you, is for the day to remind you of what you want to do, to remind you of your goal, to remind you of what you want, to put you into check. You see, when you write something down, you want to do something. It's like you're planting a seed. The first guy that planted carrot, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, he doesn't know when it's going to grow. He just knew I like to plant this and I did it. But after then, now we can know how many days. Actually, I think approximately 70 days for carrot to grow. But whatever you want also is a seed. So probably you say 6 months, but the thing didn't come out until 8 months. You just missed the day. But you writing the particular time down is going to actually increase your faith. It's going to put you into check that you have to do something towards that mark. When do you want it? And ladies and gentlemen, the last one, the I, is an idea on how to get it. An idea on how to get it. Now, this talks about what you are doing. What are you actually doing right now to get whatever you want? Okay, what are you doing right now? This is the acting part. This is the doing part. You have to keep moving. You might hit the first obstacle because your why is big enough, you're going to have another idea. You might not get it when you want it, but because you keep doing it, because you know what you want, guess what? Another idea is going to come into place. These 4 questions are interwoven. You cannot miss one out. You cannot miss one out. And like I promised, I'm going to tell you where I got this from. I recommend to read this book. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to buy any book and you have not bought this book yet, your library is not complete. Think and Grow Rich. Now, that rich is in anything you want. Anything. He's not really talking about financial right now, but he's talking about anything. Dr. Napoleon will break everything down. I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this book, there's only one book that outsold this book, and which is the Bible. After the Bible, no other book outsold Think and Grow Rich. Do you know why? Most of the ideas, most of the principles that's been written in this book, I actually got it from the Bible. You'll be so surprised how much more I learned about the words in the Bible because I read this book. It's a phenomenal book. Matter of fact, I always say you should buy it for your kids, not even for yourself. Buy the younger version for them, and you'll be surprised what will happen in 1 year, 2 years, or even less. An idea of philosophy. Remember, it says an idea on how to get it. So now let's talk about an idea of philosophy. Because you have to entertain a new idea. You have to entertain a new thing. Now, what can you explain, or how can you define what is called a philosophy? Okay, what can you tell yourself? The definition about philosophy. What can you say? I got the best one, which says philosophy is the ability to gather knowledge. Now, that's the first key words. The ability to gather knowledge. You must be exposed to information. You must not be lazy to read. You see, I'm an amateur in the Bible, but Bible actually said people do not lack whatever they want, not because they cannot work. He said people perish because they lack knowledge. And ladies and gentlemen, some people have knowledge, which is okay, but they are not able to solve through and decide what is valuable in their knowledge. Because philosophy is the ability to gather knowledge and sort through it to decide what is valuable. So you have to, because you'll be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, that I told a couple of people that, have you read this book before? They said yes. And I asked them this question. Are you sure you've read this book or you've read this book? Which of the two? Because when you read the book, you can only read the book. But when you actually read that book, that means you are actually acting on what the principles of the book says, or what is valuable from the book. You actually decide to work on it. And this is definition from Mr. Jim Rohn, which is late now. A great man of wisdom, and I'm sure a couple of people will know him. You see, this philosophy, entertaining a new philosophy, could be towards anything in your life, like you said. It could be your wealth, about just life generally, about your family relationship, about economy, about your wealth, about finances, about anything at all, ladies and gentlemen, about anything at all. So we're going to consider some couple of philosophy about financial goal forward this year. Okay, the first one is going to be the philosophy of poor. Now, this is what poor people do. Poor people usually spend their money and invest the rest. And exactly, that is what they do. And what I'm actually doing right now, I want to actually get a quote from a man called Warren Buffett. All right, Warren Buffett shared an idea concerning this. All right, he shared an idea concerning this that I got somewhere. This is what he said. He said, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." This is Warren Buffett talking now. Phenomenal. He said the philosophy of poor people usually spend their money and invest the rest. Now, guess what? Philosophy of the rich. Exactly. Rich people invest their money and spend the rest. Now, there is a key point here, ladies and gentlemen. There is a key point. And you will know this key point often. I will point, when I say the word, I will let you understand. Because rich people invest the money and spend the rest. Poor people usually spend their money and invest the rest. Because a lot of people are going to say, come on, I don't think I have enough money to actually invest, which is okay. But I'll explain something to you later on. An idea and philosophy. Let's continue on this. You see, there's 1 into 4 strategy that I will be sharing today, ladies and gentlemen. I call it 1 divided into 4. All right? And with this strategy, you will be surprised how much more it's easy for you to invest first than you can spend. But let's actually take some questions into place. How should a child spend a pound? Can you ask yourself, how should your child spend 1 pound? See, there's so many answers to this. You know, somebody said, well, it's a child and it's a pound. Well, let him spend it. Well, I don't think so. The answer is don't spend it all. You say, come on, what heart is he going to do for a child to spend a pound? Let him spend a pound. By the time he grew up, then he's going to learn not to spend a pound. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that's a good idea as well. See, I don't want to spend that long. Matter of fact, if I've known when I was growing up in my school days, and I know there's a class called Wealth 1, Wealth 2, ladies and gentlemen, I would take both classes. Okay? I would take both classes. Because then I can actually learn how to spend a pound. Because I know so many people that study economy and they have no idea how to spend money. Now, you'll be surprised I said this. But listen, gentlemen, how to spend a pound. How can we teach a child how to spend a pound? Because The child is going to say, hey, it is my money. It is my money. I want to spend it. I earned this money. Let me spend it. Now, you're going to tell the child, whoa, 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 no, you can't spend it all. And the child's going to say, why? Because that's one of the questions they love the most. Why, daddy? Why, mommy? I want to spend this money. Why? Then you're going to take that child, take him into the car, and drive the kid down to the ugly side of the town and ask the kid, because they learn best by visual. And you say to them, do you want to live in this area? The kid's going to say, no, I don't want to live there. You say, okay, take them to another downside and ask him, do you want to live in this area? And the kid's going to say, why, daddy? I don't want to live here. Why did you bring me here? So I want to show you those who spend all their £1 when they earn it. And I tell you, the kid will get the message. You see, how to spend the pound, listen, gentlemen. This is going to be a breakdown of your 100% income. See, your 100% is the one. And the breakdown is going to be into 4 strategies, ladies and gentlemen. You see, the first strategy is 70%. The second strategy is 10%. The third strategy is 10%. And guess the last strategy, of course, is 10%. Okay? So now, let's look at this 70%. This is going to be your expenses, ladies and gentlemen. See, the percentage here is based on your convenience. This is all based on your philosophy that you want to work with. Okay? But we have to pick a number. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you 70% is fair enough. 70% for us to work through with this, philosophy, 70% is fair enough. And I can tell you can live on that. You see, the 10%, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Is that you give that money to the charity or to the church. Helping people who can't help themselves, ladies and gentlemen, to support worthy projects that feel good to you. Your tithe, ladies and gentlemen. In our church, we do Christmas hamper campaign. Do you participate in that? You see, I have to bold these two, especially your tithe, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot joke with it. Matter of fact, if I want to teach you any principle in terms of finances, I tell you, if you don't pay tithe, don't even talk to me. Because you have to give away. See, when you are generous, it is good, because you just show that you want to give back to what is coming from the society. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, there's nothing that teaches character better than being generous. There's nothing that teaches character better than generosity. And your tithe, you cannot joke with it. There's 2 things that I understand tithe does to you. Okay? The first thing is you prove to your God that you actually love him and you want to follow and obey his mandate. That's the first key. You want to remember that. Now, the second thing is, in the Bible, you see, I'm an amateur in the Bible, but in the Bible, there's only one place it says, test me. Test me if I will do this to you. All right? So you're doing 2 things with your tithe. You're showing to God you love him, and you're obeying his mandate. And the second thing, you're testing him. Because I am actually, ladies and gentlemen, a testimony from tithing. I can tell you that. Okay? So I don't play with that. Matter of fact, I always say this in my presentation. If I owe you £10 and you saw me earning £10, ladies and gentlemen, I will only give you 9 and pay £1 of my tithe. I don't care. You have to just cut on my head for me to give you the whole 10. I will tell you this, well, you have to wait for another week or another month for me to pay that £1. I want to pay my tithe. All right? I want to pay my tithe. Now, that is my philosophy. You see, now, the other 10% is going to be your active capital. You set aside a part of your income to make profit. Because wages are okay, but ladies and gentlemen, profit makes you a fortune. See, profit are always better than wages. Now, let me give you 2 reasons. 2 key major reasons why profits are always better than wages. Number one. See, there's no age restriction in profit. But under wages, you have to be 16 or 17, all the way to 65 to 70 for you to earn wages. So there's an age cap in wages, but in profit, there's none. Matter of fact, can we teach a kid how to have 2 bicycles, one to rent and one to ride? Of course we can. Because if these two kids have two bicycles, he's riding one and he's renting one. If he's renting one for 2 hours, £2 every Saturday, and he's doing 3 customers of his friend, 3 of his friend, paying £2 each every Saturday, and he does that every week, just 50 weeks in 56 weeks year. Just 50 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, that is £300. That means next year he can actually buy 2 more bicycles. That's incredible, ladies and gentlemen. See, it's just a simple idea, but we're missing this. 10% for you to earn profit. There's no age restriction on profit. Now, that is number one. Now, number two, the potential earning for profit is unbelievable. You can buy something for £1 and sell it for £10. It is your profit. If you have the skill to do it, why not? You can buy something for £100 and sell it for £300. Why not? It's unbelievable, the cap, because there's none in profit. But in wages, there's always going to be a cap. 25,000 per annum, 10,000 per annum, 40,000 per annum. You can't go above that. There's always going to be a cap. So for those two reasons, there's no age restriction in profit, and the profit, the margin is unbelievable. Those two reasons is enough for you to think of getting into one of this, ladies and gentlemen. Active capital for you to earn profit. Get into especially multi-level marketing business. I'm into one. I can show you how this can actually be valuable for you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the last bit is the passive capital. This is capital that you will allow somebody else to use. You let someone else use your money for the profit that people call interest. You see, you give them your money, they make the money work for you, and they pay you interest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, compound interest is what actually makes the rich and the poor the poor. Exactly. It's compound interest. That is the game now. Compound interest. See, there's a Bible philosophy to this. It's in Proverbs 22:7. The borrower is a servant to the lender. Okay? The borrower is a servant to the lender. This is phenomenal. This is actually phenomenal idea, ladies and gentlemen. So you don't really want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. Now, still continue on the idea of philosophy. Remember I said that I would say something that's very crucial about especially investing, because a lot of people say I do not have a lot of money to invest. But listen, gentlemen, really it's not about the amount. You have to understand it. It's not the amount that you start with that matters. But what matters is the philosophy. I will take this quote for myself. Okay? It is the philosophy. Understanding that you have to do this. Not because of the amount that you want to put in, but for you to understand that you have to do this. Because do you know that just having £10, £50, £100, setting it aside every month, consistently, and putting it in a program in a way that money is going to work for you, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be surprised how things can turn out. You will really, really be surprised how things can turn out. Matter of fact, the philosophy that I just shared with you, I'll be sharing a book that I got this idea from. Phenomenal book. And there is a promise from my mentor. He said something. He said, I read this book and in 5 years, I became financially free. So now, that's why I always ask that question. Do you read the book or you read the book? Because when you read the book and you follow the philosophy, ladies and gentlemen, that is when you're making things valuable for yourself. Okay, now your turn to decide. This is your turn to decide on the information that I've asked, that I've presented to you. Because your decision is going to be based on your perception. How did you perceive this? Do you allow your belief system for you to take control of how you see this presentation? Because listen, gentlemen, I tell you, out of the bunch of people that are listening to this presentation right now, Some people will say the good side of it, and some people will say the bad side of it. So what is your perspective based on? Because right now it's your turn to decide. And there is a quote that I brought out here from my mentor Bob Proctor. He said, decision making is not a class you can take. You actually don't take the class. You have to make the class. You have to make that decision. And listen, gentlemen, I tell you, a yes or no decision for you towards this information could be the right one for you. Well, it could be. It could be now. All right? So you have to make decision. You don't take the class, you have to make it. But guess what? When do you want to make any decision? When you have been exposed to an information, when do you want to make any decision? Listen, gentlemen, you start wherever you are with whatever you've got. You see, a lot of people are going to say, okay, you know what? Let me go gather some days. Let me go gather some substances for me to decide on what you want to do. Listen, gentlemen, that is absurd. You don't need to have any circuit. You don't need to have any of those things for you to make any decision. Let me ask you this question. How would you like to travel to the United States on holiday, go to somewhere like Miami where the sun is hot and the beach is warm for like a week? Now, the first thing that's going to crop into your mind is, whoa, Miami, United States, that's going to be expensive. I don't have the money. But hold on a second. I didn't ask about the money. I just asked, how would you like to? Now, that should make you think now. Then you'll be saying, okay, I would like to. Do you know that when you make a proper decision, when you make a convinced decision that you want to do anything, ladies and gentlemen, anything, guess what? The resources will always come through. Think about that. Every time, it always does. But the problem is we do not make decision on time. We do not make it at the point, because you have to make decision wherever you are with whatever you've got. Think about this again. In the 1960s, matter of fact, 1962, when President Kennedy said we're going to place a man into the moon, in the recorded history, it has never been done before. There's nothing in the world that suggests it could be done. But in 1962, he made that decision that before the end of this decade, we're going to put a man into the moon. And in 1967 or 69, thereabout, a man was actually put on the moon. That's incredible. Because he decided with whatever he's got right there and then. So you have to make the same decision, ladies and gentlemen. You have to make that kind of decision. Okay? You see, let's take a look about this code. Analysis of several hundreds of people had accumulated fortune well beyond the $1 million mark. Disclosed the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly, changing those decisions slowly if and when they were changed. Now take a look at that. Reaching decisions promptly and changing those decisions slowly, that is if that decision is going to be changed. But guess the second part of the statement. People who fail to accumulate money, without exception, have the habit of reaching decision, if at all, very slowly, and of changing those decisions quickly and often. Quickly and often. Now that is incredible. So right now I just want to actually go into my Bible again, so I can actually read a page from I think it's Ecclesiastes 9:11. Now I'm not really sure about this now. You see, I'm an amateur in the Bible, like I say. So you have to pardon me for if I didn't get this correctly the first time. Oh, actually it is 9:11. Listen to what he said. I'm reading from New King James Version. It says, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the men of understanding. Because I've met so many people that have no idea, they've never been to school before, and they are, oh my God, wealthy. And not just wealthy, because a lot of people are going to say, well, everything's not about money. Well, I'm not really going to agree to that statement, but this is what I want you to think about. If you say money is not about everything. See, oxygen is like the main thing that every man needs in life. But guess what? Money is rated beside oxygen. Because without money, you can't do nothing. The love of it is the evil, but the use of it actually is the will to good service for you to do well in life. So it said, no riches to men of understanding, no favor to men of skill. But, it says, time and chance happen to them all. What does that mean? Time and opportunity. The ability to make decision when you have to make decision. And that is where the quote is from. Okay? That is where the quote is from. Jim Salem. Jim Salem may be thinking of decision when he wrote, we think in secret and it come to pass. Eventually, environment is not but our looking glass. You also have to understand that we think in secret and it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass. Because the decision you make in secret, guess what? People will find out to know about it. No one else can make decision, but they almost see the result of the decision you made. Okay. So now I'm expecting the feedback from you. Let's talk. Get involved. Get connected with me at www.bit.ly/coachAOG. And let's have a strategic meeting. Actually, let's have a strategic meeting. Starting with these two books, because like I said, I'm going to introduce you to some two new books that you have to read for yourself, for you to grow, for you to understand many other things. The first one is The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. I've actually exposed this book to a couple of people. It's a phenomenal book, great idea. The 4-in-1 strategy that I actually show right now is from this book. And I tell you, reading this book, we actually bring a new perspective to your life. And The Science of Getting Rich by Walter D. Wattles. It's a great book also. So you want to get those two books for yourself. I believe I have the audio version. For those who want it, let me know. There's going to be a price to it. You have to understand that. Like I said, your preparedness meets with opportunity will make it success. You see, time and chance. You have to be prepared. So your preparedness meeting with opportunities will make you success. Right. So thanks for the time of viewing this presentation, and I'll be looking forward in meeting with you. It's a great pleasure, privilege, and also a pleasure to share this information with you. My name is Ayala. God bless.